Hello there, people of YouTube. It has been forever since I have been uploading anything on this channel, and it is very exciting to say that I am back. I'll be doing videos again. Not too many face cam videos right now, just due to a lack of technology and equipment and all that type of stuff. But I'm glad to be back, putting out new content, uploading. It's going to be great. And today I have a very special video that I really wanted to do. Today I'm talking about the new Olivia Rodrigo album, Sour. Now, just to cover a little bit of base history of my knowledge of Olivia Rodrigo and her music a little bit, she is very, very new, especially in terms of like a serious music career that she has ahead of her. Because back in January, she dropped her first single, which was Driver's License. And I remember hearing the song on the radio, not really knowing who she was, and just thinking about like how beautiful of a song, how very powerful, emotional that song is. And I was just kind of amazed when I found out that the girl that is this as a co-star on High School Musical, the musical, the series, is the one that was singing that song. And I literally found that out like last weekend. Like it didn't really click because I don't know what it was. I didn't know any information about her other than the fact that this whole character that she had on that show. And even on that Disney Plus show, I was able to hear some talent in her voice, which is very good because that means that she definitely had a music career ahead of her, and she definitely does have that moving along forward, especially since the way that I feel about this album. Now, it was last weekend that I heard her perform her song Driver's License and her latest released single, Good For You, on SNL. And it was because of that performance and how she performed that, which I thought was an absolute fantastic performance. And I was just kind of blown away by the whole general performance of both of those songs that I'm like, I have to listen to more of her. And I only found out from there that there was only one other song and that her album was coming out, which is this weekend. I need to give this album a listen. I'm going to have a lot to say, and now I'm here to talk about the album. So, what were my general thoughts of the album? Well, on top of Driver's License, Deja Vu, and Good For You, which were the songs that came out prior, I thought it was a very good album. Very good, very strong, very powerful. And you can even see that throughout the album that she has been very heavily influenced by Taylor Swift. And you can hear some Lorde vibes in there as well, which she has mentioned is a pretty big reference influence on her music. So, which is really, really cool because I think Lorde is a very underrated top singer and everything. Haven't heard much new from her recently, but Taylor Swift, I like Taylor Swift. Not everybody likes her, but personally, I've been a fan of her music, and I've definitely heard a lot of like those good things that I like about Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo's album here. So, to break it all down, I'm going to start off with just my thoughts on some of the highlights of the album, certain tracks, certain elements, how cohesive it is, and all that. And honestly, I feel like the album is fairly cohesive throughout, especially in terms of themes, because clearly this whole album is talking about her recent breakup with other co-star of High School Musical, the musical, the series, Joshua Bassett. Yes, I looked all this stuff up and found out about all this stuff. I honestly don't care too much about all the background drama, but this whole album pretty much covers that whole breakup, how she's been dealing with everything, and clearly the whole breakup after the whole relationship really struck a chord with her and really made her want to push to write and record this album, which is actually pretty cool because although like people can criticize her for being like, oh, she's just Taylor Swift writing about boyfriends and ex-boyfriends and that type of stuff, it's just kind of like, well, hold on a bit. She's only, what is she? I think only 18 now. Like, she was 17, I think, when she was writing most of the record to begin with. And what else can a 17, 18-year-old write about, okay? Like, they write about the things that they know, and they will base and experiences, and they will put out that type of material. So, what more can you really expect from a girl of that age? So, to get down to it, pretty much starting off with her song Brutal, it's basically just coming off of that relationship, just feeling like just how brutal everything was from her mind, her perspective of everything. And it was actually a pretty good, solid start to this album. And although it started off kind of slow, it picked up, got that rocky, punky kind of vibes that a song Good For You kind of has as well, especially within that chorus of Good For You. But Brutal has that kind of punky, rocky fun to it, and it literally feels so brutal, and there is just so much emotion that it's just a really good intro track. And the fact that it's an intro, it almost doesn't feel like a full song because it is definitely more intro than it is just a song of its own, which is completely fine. That doesn't bother me too much, but it was a really good start to this album, which leads into the song Traitor, which I feel like is a very emotional, passionate song. Amazing vocals, very powerful. The instrumentation was great, and just the acoustics on that second verse and throughout were just really amazing. I don't know what it is about Olivia's voice and the music, instrumentation and everything, and the music surrounding, but it's all been great so far. And honestly, I'm just going crazy for her music right now. She's just a very talented young artist, and I'm basically in love with her music. Not in love with her, that'd be kind of creepy. I'm a 28-year-old man. But her music is great. She's very talented. And most of this album is actually very good. There's very few things that I could pick out that I don't really care for. Not that many. Mostly being the fact that some of her songs kind of feel familiar to the point of just very, very heavy on like the Taylor Swift influences, especially on like One Step Forward and Three Steps Backward. That song I actually heard was actually kind of like co-written and co-helped with Taylor herself, which honestly is pretty cool. But so like honestly, you can kind of pick out and kind of like forget about the fact that that song was heavily influenced by Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift was involved on that song. But especially on moments how people have compared Deja Vu to, I believe, Cool Summer by Taylor Swift. So the influences are there. It's gonna happen. Everybody is gonna have their own influences, but also just throughout, I've also noticed that there were some kind of like Billie Eilish vibes as well throughout, which honestly is pretty good because she's another young talented artist, and it's pretty exciting to kind of hear a little bit from here, a little bit from there, and everything. But at the same time, some of this music doesn't feel as fresh as it could be. It's all very original, but at the same time, some of it just feels kind of like heard before, and not too much innovation was put into some of the music and some of the like the vocal melodies and harmonies that you hear throughout on some of these songs. I mean, it's still very good though, and Olivia definitely does a really good job throughout. And some of my favorites definitely are Good For You. Like I love that pop punk kind of rocky kind of vibe and everything. So whenever I hear a little bit of that on any of these songs, I'm just here for it. So, but other than that, there are a couple others that were definitely standouts. I really love the closing song, Hope You're Okay. It's, to me, the only note I had on that song was just, whoa, I love that song. And Jealousy, Jealousy, another rocky kind of like elements of vibes and everything throughout. A lot more Taylor Swift vibes that I was picking up on that song as well. It just had the one of the grooviest bass lines that I've heard in songs of like today and everything. And I just really love how cool that song was. But honestly, other than that, I don't have much more to say about Sour. It's a good album. It's a very solid album. Very, very good first album to put out and get on the game with. It's very good, and I definitely suggest that you give it a listen if you haven't heard of Olivia Rodrigo, or just are kind of like into that poppy kind of the pop music type of music and everything. It's very good, solid album to start off with. So I'm gonna end this with a rating. I'd probably give Sour a solid, at least a solid 7.5, a light 8 out of 10. So that's where I stand on Olivia Rodrigo and Sour. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's not that much of a video, mostly a lot of images and stuff like that throughout. That's probably how a lot of my videos are going to be coming up. So I hope you're okay with that. I hope you're okay with how I sound coming across. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it that thumbs up. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. And if you think that I'm a good YouTuber to follow, and just kind of, the whole deal. Click that bell if you want to stay up to date with all videos that are coming. And that's it. I'll see you guys later.